Hi, everybody. Dr. Karyn here. We are talking about one of my favorite topics. We are talking about time management techniques. We're talking about time mastery secrets, 7 proven strategies, tools you can actually start implementing literally today. So whether or not you are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're an HR manager, professional, teacher, emerging leader, parent, this is for you. And so we're going to be going through the 7. As I go through the 7, I want you to think to yourself, how many of these are you doing? Do a little mental checklist for yourself. What are the ones you're doing? What are the ones you need to kind of really work on? Okay, so here we go. First one is prioritization. Now, these are some of the things you might have, you've probably heard of it, you read of it. That's fine. This is like a little bit of a recap, a little reminder. So prioritization. So when we work with business owners, we get them to clarify their 3 main goals they're chasing in the year, and then how that cascades throughout the organization. Same thing happens for families. It's the same thing. I want families to, and individuals to really think about what are our priorities. And with families, we do it a little bit different. We actually get them to look at 6 different areas and get them to actually really set goals and their priorities for the year. We need to have that roadmap. If we don't have that roadmap, what happens is we become very reactive with our time. We all have the same amount of time. And but how we use that time is actually really important. This is actually one of the most, I'd say, common questions I get asked for a lot of people, whether it's in social media or whether it's through our email list or community. When I speak is like, Karyn, how do you do so many things? We have multiple businesses. I'm married to a wonderful human for 22 years. We've got teenagers. We've got lots of friends. I've got my wellness to manage. There's a lot of things that we manage, but it all comes down to really having clarity on your priorities. And once you have clarity on your priorities, you start becoming more ruthless on what you're going to actually say no to. So that's number 1. Number 2, this one I'm not as strong at. I'm going to be honest. It's someone that I have to work at it. And I don't know if it's a female entrepreneur thing or if it's anything to do with gender. I don't know. But I will tell you, I certainly have struggled with this next one. And a lot of the women entrepreneurs that I work with, that we coach, also do as well, and that is around delegating. And yet we know this, that delegating is such an important skill for all of us in business, but also in our family life. So here's a kind of fun question for you. Ask yourself, how well do you do in terms of delegating? You might do really well delegating in the office, but you're not as good at delegating to your kids. Or to your spouse, your partner. Maybe you're really great at delegating at home, but not so well at the office. And so it's interesting with leadership skills because we can be really good at a skill in one part of our life, but we're not as skilled using it in another part of our life. And so again, this is why the checklist is really great, to kind of go through and ask yourself, how am I doing with these skills in all parts of our life, both, at work, but also with personal as well as family. Number 3, overcommitting. It kind of goes a little bit with prioritization, but for a lot of people, if we overcommit, then what happens is then we feel exhausted. Now this is affecting our stress, our burnout, and now this is actually going to affect our productivity. So it kind of goes in a circle. And so it kind of fits a little bit with prioritization. If we are not prioritizing, then we tend to overcommit. And again, it could be one of those things where you may not overcommit at work, but maybe you're overcommitting on the personal side. So again, be really, really clear, everybody, on where you want to put your time and energy. And like all of our videos, if you like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you are notified when we get more videos, and say yes if you like this content. And then someone from our team will actually send you our scorecard, which kind of goes through all these different leadership success skills for you, and can kind of give you a little bit more data for you to kind of measure your own leadership skill. Okay, number 4 the number 4 may seem a little bit more like a business one, but you can actually apply the same thing actually to families, and that's strategic planning. So how much time do you do for strategic planning on your strategy for running your business, but also your family, instead of actually reacting? So this is something that's really interesting to me. If you have followed me, you know I've done this work for 25 years. I started with families. Now we work mostly with companies, 80% with organizations globally, but I still practice part-time, and I leave about 20% of my time for that because I just love it so much still. But this is one of those topics that when I made that transition from families to business, and we expanded as an organization, I just assumed that all these wonderful family tools that were so applicable in the business culture that there's a lot of tools on the business side that you can actually flip it, and it actually applies really well to families. And this is one of those topics that I just thought it's such a practical skill on strategy and planning. So certainly, business leaders are applying this to their family life, and I actually found that they actually weren't. And so this is something that is a real gap, and I encourage all of us watching to really think about, have we created a strategy plan both for our professional life, our career, but also for our personal life? Because if we don't have a strategy plan, what happens is we're very reactive to opportunities that kind of come our way. We actually just launched, because of this, we actually just launched a marriage mastermind this past year. We sold out. It's been extremely successful. And this is one of the things that we're actually doing with all the couples. It's all C-suite, it's all business leaders, but we're taking business strategy and actually applying it for marriages because it's so incredibly helpful, useful, applicable for us to actually apply that kind of strategy to marriage to have a great marriage. So anyway, send us a message if you want to know more information. Next one, distractions and interruptions. This is really, really important. So we constantly see that every time you're interrupted, somebody calls you, somebody walks to the office. How much time are we losing, everybody? Well, research says about 15 minutes, okay, depending on what your task is. And so you want to really make sure that you are eliminating and time blocking so that when you're into some deep thought, something that requires a lot of deep thinking for you, that you're not getting interrupted. And so I do a lot of our strategy planning, our vision casting. I'll do it early in the morning when I'm not going to get interrupted. I'll turn my phone off. I won't check email. And that is extremely effective. So you want to make sure you're eliminating distractions and interruptions. Number 6, how are you doing for your self-care? This is one of our clients out of Florida. I was talking to the CEO and she was like, Karyn, she goes, we're dealing with massive stress and our well-being issues with our team. So because of their well-being and they're not taking care of themselves, now their productivity is not great. They're slugging along. So just remember this, everybody. We are human. We are not robots, okay? So we need to take care of our self-care. When we take care of ourselves, you know what happens? We've got more energy so that we are going to be more productive and we're going to get more done in less amount of time. So self-care is absolutely a critical piece we got to look into. How are you doing with your self-care to making sure that it's going to save you time? Last one is just look overall your time management tools. What are the things you do as a system for yourself to keep yourself organized? We see this a lot with our business owners that a lot of them, they don't have their systems in place. And so they're very reactive. They don't have their calendar, their tools, and their email. Their emails are, logging up. They've got like 500, 1,000 different emails that are like, their office is a mess. Like, you've just got to create systems. I love systems. Systems simplify things. They make things easier to understand. They make us kind of be a little bit more calm. So look at the systems. What are the ones that you need to really start implementing to keep yourself organized, to keep yourself focused? So all of these 7, everybody, prioritization, delegating, make sure you're not overcommitting, make sure you're spending some time on strategic planning, get rid of those distractions, focus in on self-care, and really start dialing in some really good technology for your time management. And all of these are going to really amplify your productivity and lower your stress, okay? And make sure you check out some of our other videos on YouTube. We've got lots of different videos. If you have a topic you would like me to cover, make sure you send it to us. You can either put into the comments below, or you can go to our website, www.dkleadership.org, and you can sign up for our community with a lot more free videos, as well as actually give us your suggestion for video. So hope you found this helpful, everybody, and we'll see you at one of my next YouTube videos.